Hi. I had wanted to show off how the character creation works, and I have a special guest star, Haley, here, who's doing some drawings for the book that I thought might want to create a character. Say hi to the fine people.
Hello to the fine people.
Hello, fine people. If any fine people see this, be sure to say hi back. We're gonna build a character really quick. It's gonna be a brief process, and then we'll kind of shut it down, and everybody can get a chance to see what that is. And later on, when you join the test game, we will I'll put a link in this video to the timestamp where you go through the second part of character creation, which happens after you manifest, because you and I have kind of played up to that point. So we'll go through this part here that just kind of says how you make the initial character to get into the game. And then we'll hit that other part actually in game, and you can get a chance to see what that feels like then. So those of you following along at home, start your stopwatches now. So the first step to figure out when you're building a character in Gallery is kind of like who you are and where you're from. So you have the opportunity to build a character from any point in time. The character can be human, can be animal, can actually be object if you are so inclined. You got to kind of manipulate the story a little bit to get there, but it can be done. And your rendition of the world can be a little different than the way that the world is that we're familiar with. If you wish it to, you can change key points in history and have that kind of be a divergence from the canvas that might eventually loop back in or kind of stay on its own branch. So who you feeling?
Well, we're going to go with the same character we talked about previously. 1920s investigator from a branched timeline, because I like that idea. Alternate history is cool. What's our first step?
Tell me about your branched timeline.
My branched timeline. I'm fascinated with the concept that the expansion of the national highway system didn't lead to the destruction of rail networks. As stupid and nerdy as that sounds.
I mean, it's like laced with Tylenol, yeah.
Listen, okay. The damage Dwight D. Eisenhower did after World War II cannot begin to state it. Gutted cities. Literally. Let's just cut a freeway straight through black neighborhoods. Let's not do that this time. Pretty terrible.
So we're already painting a utopic picture where mass transit and the overall gentrification of the world was a little less prevalent.
Exactly. What's your ideal scenario? A little less of that. If you want the fun description, electropunk 1930s.
Cool. All right.
There.
So that'll be where about you're standing. You said you were part of a private investigation firm.
Yeah, I'm the secretary for an investigation firm in Prohibition era Chicago in the 30s.
Okay, who's your boss? Is this like a large firm? Is this a small thing?
Tiny. It's me and her. It's well, she'll tell you it's a large firm, but no, it is scraping the bottom of the barrel. Not a lot of work for James in 30s Chicago.
Anything specific about your character's background that's kind of like significant?
You're really gonna make me roleplay that, or you're gonna make me describe the whole dang thing, aren't you?
Okay. Creation. We're not rolling dice. We're building a character.
Oh, I get it. I wanted to play a woman on her own in the 30s, queer, trans, because that was right when that started to get talked about, as we all know. Berlin. Hersfeld Institute, et cetera, right before things turned dark. So
right
I want to play
the cyclical loop hits begin. Yeah, okay.
The cyclical loop, yeah, exactly. No, we don't talk about the cycles. Yeah, why do we call it World War II? Because we love trilogies.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, I wanted to play a queer trans woman in the 30s in an alternate setting because I think that's cool.
Okay, so we have a couple little plot hooks that we deal with there. We have kind of things that are being hidden from the public. We have some interesting sort of developments in medicine. We have a boss that doesn't know.
Absolutely does. I like that I'm more nervous describing my character's backstory than I am talking about the fact that I'm about to get magical powers. That's the hard part. The magic powers are the easy part. How did that happen?
That is kind of one of the delights, honestly. That is why character creation in Gallery is a conversation. There's no dice on it.
You're hitting me like this is a therapy session. It's great.
I resent the implication. I'm not making any money. If only.
Yet. God. Okay, yeah. So you're on track with that. Something hidden, something known. Character's got something to hide, but also is got a nose for the mysterious and the hidden, since detective.
From here, your second step is to select your motif. This is kind of the beginnings of your manifestation showing in your character. Depending on how long the prelude section goes, which is the area before you manifest, more and more of this motif might show up, or it might take a while for it to bud. The separation between motif and manifestation in Gallery is not necessarily a hard line. It's sort of like this is the prelude to the final form you'll be taking, but you don't necessarily need to stay in fully manifested form all the time. You kind of have a stage before that that you can be in that is your motif form that shows like the essence of who you are without being blazonly on display. And whether or not that chooses to be the form that you're always in or not in is entirely up to you. It doesn't have any kind of functional drain on your powers. There are a few things in the Gallery game that can shut down your manifestation abilities. There is nothing that is able to take away your motif. That is who you are. It's not a template. So your character as a muse is made of this stuff called medium, and it has manifested in this way. It can't be removed from you any more than your blood can be. You'll just be killed. So, your options here are templated as animals purely because those are easy things that people have opinions about. The fact that people have differing opinions about those animals is actually kind of the benefit here. They're not they are a thing to reflect upon with yourself, and the degree to which you show them is entirely up to you. We have birds, dogs, horses, cats, reptiles, and insects. Do you know where you want to be?
Since we went with canine last time, I'm going to stick with that because I like the concept of a canid detective.
Do you know, since you did actually know what your manifestation was going to be, do you know to what degree you're going to kind of show your motif off? Like, what is your kind of like form when you're not sort of in the midst of like using all of your power at one time?
I am actually really excited to start exploring that with the other players
Okay.
during the first few sessions because that sort of reluctant acceptance of self is a huge theme, at least for my character, and it seems like this system is really going to be fun for that. So I don't have a hard set who am I going to be when I'm naturally lounging on a couch yet,
Okay.
so to
That's
speak.
cool.
If that's
Um,
okay. Is that okay?
yeah, no, no, it's totally fine. That's part of the fun. When we were doing the kind of prelude episode when you were over here, we had it show up in a few different ways depending on when you needed to use a sense and stuff. So I'm
Narratively, I
curious. Yeah. Good.
narratively I really like that because that sort of set the stage for the big event when the character went from level 0 to level 1. I like that. That was cool.
That is
That's a fun way to
a thing that I'm really fond of in this game is that
yeah,
initial slip. It's very
yeah, it's
very fun to
the fact that
narrate, very fun to have people go through and like commit to.
yeah, the fact that session 1 you don't show up with your character ready to go with a pack full of items, you show up with questions and then session 1 is build your character. That's cool. But it's quick.
That being said, we are halfway done. Select your lighting.
Nice.
This is your kind of theme. This is a could be a song, could be a feeling, could be a series of jingles. It's just sort of something that you can provide me and the rest of the party that indicates the kind of general vibe of your character when they're like giving it their all. And something that you're kind of like hearing in your head during your finest moments. Lights do actually have a mechanical function in the game. They're kind of like a last blast that can be done in really strenuous situations or when you've rallied from a very difficult situation. But the nature of it could be kind of anything you want to. It could be light, it could be sound, it could be scent. It's some kind of projection that everybody gets to interpret. So what I usually like to have people do is if you know a song that you think reflects the character, everybody can just kind of listen to part of that song and get an idea of who you are. Did you ever figure out what kind of song you wanted to go with?
I have an electro swing playlist. I'm narrowing it down. I'm sorry. You've told me to choose one song that represents my character, and I'm
You don't
like,
need, yeah.
look at
You don't need to stick with one. Like so the fact that you're kind of going into electro swing as a general genre is a good a good place to be.
yes,
If yeah.
jazzy and exciting.
Mhm. And presumably, depending on the nature of when this light is showing up, it's probably going to change its overall cadence. But if you do kind of find a melody that is the one that you think, works specifically for her, it can be kind of fun when, it boots up and everybody gets to hear it and reflect on it because it means that a cool moment is occurring.
I will absolutely have narrowed it down to at least one by the time by the time I'm slipped into the session.
That's good because you
Promise.
technically
I
use it when
promise.
you manifest. For the first time, you kind of have that status effect. So,
Amazing.
in the last section here, in terms of decisions of character creation, are affinities and disdains. So the idea behind affinities and disdains are environments that your character encounters that are either kind of promoting them or repressing them. It's not necessarily just things that they like or don't like. It's things that, like, in this environment, I feel like I'm being propelled toward the person that I wish to be, or the best version of myself. And if I'm in this kind of environment or around this sort of person, I am closed in and unable to reach for things that allow me to kind of manifest my abilities to their best.
Quick question. How mechanically does that affect it? Because we covered that a little bit when we were doing our little test session.
So there is no hard lined mechanic for affinity and disdain. What it is a guideline for the guide to know when to apply things like bonuses and negatives based on the
Oh, okay.
environment that you're in. And it's possible to ignore them, but much like how this whole process is conversation, the only major dice modifiers in this system are simplify and complicate, which make your die roll a little harder or a little easier. And me deciding when to apply those to you will largely be based on your answers here.
Nice. Okay. I think we talked about it previously. Did I forgot to write it down? Do you remember what we wrote down for it?
I think you was it lavishness? Was it like opulence? I don't remember that she. I don't think she had a particular problem with like being in super fancy spaces, did she?
No, I think it was more social. Like the difficulty was when there was an expectation to perform socially in somewhere that was like above her pay grade. Like,
Yeah,
like go talk to this person at a fancy ball or go into court or go into, somewhere where it's like the DMV isn't going to give her the fidgets, but if you're expecting her to like act like a lady at a fancy ball gown, she's going to probably have a panic attack.
yeah. So we have like lavishness and opulence on as some of the
Yeah.
example options over here of like banquets and ballrooms and things
Yeah,
like
I think
that.
that was what we were talking about.
Okay, so if that's like your disdain, what's your affinity? Where does she like to be? Like,
Street level.
okay,
Street level markets, busy crowds,
right. We had
places
dynamic
you can,
activity and like
yep,
crowds and stuff. Yeah.
yep, places
Okay.
you can get lost in the noise.
Mhm. All right, cool. Can you describe a little bit why those things are like appealing? You kind of did. You said that she has kind of social anxiety, but the idea of being around like a lot of people that aren't paying attention to her, why is that appealing?
Why would a trans woman in the 30s like it when a lot of people aren't paying attention to her? To
She's
a
still around a bunch
couple
of
of reasons.
people, yeah. It's the
Yeah, but she's
opportunity
not the
to
most
be right, not standing
when
out.
yeah, exactly, when the eyes aren't on you. It's like, yeah, just also like
I seem to be
nonstop,
making her relatively short.
a little. I mean, I think I made her my height, so thanks for that. Appreciate
You're
you.
welcome, I say at 6'4".
Um, yeah, yeah, just anything like that. Not just like a large crowd like that is fun because it's also like giving you a lot of visual and auditory stimulation that isn't necessarily directed at you or you're asked to perform. It's just there to be observed, and that's very exciting. It's like throwing a cat a couple of toy mice, right?
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah. That was my thought. That was my attitude.
Cool. So at this point, the hardest part of character creation has arrived, and that is picking a name. I
I
can't
go with
help you.
Valentine.
Good luck.
Um,
Oh my God, she's already got it. Amazing. Well,
yeah.
this is definitely a stage performance because that process alone should have taken $10, 10 minutes to figure
$10.
$10 and 10 minutes to figure out a name. If you've been in an RPG before, you know the hell.
Oh
Um,
God.
but yeah, the actual last step of this is to distribute a couple of points across your skills. So you have 6 proficiency points or 2d4 if you want to play a randomized game. You get to reroll ones on those to distribute across the skill set. And we're not going to plug those into the sheet right now just because like it means pulling up another document, but that's all it is. There's a grand total of maybe 10 skills and you are just deciding which ones you want to buff. And that's it. No die rolls unless you want to roll the 2d4. And no additional math. And your character is ready to play. You can click your stopwatch now. I think that was something like 10 minutes.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Well,
Uh,
I have a couple questions for you then before we go further,
Go
or is there
on.
anything else?
Well, I
So
was
I'm
gonna
looking.
mention that the second half of this is creating your manifestation and getting your instruments and stuff, but that is done in game a few sessions later, so you are starting from this point.
Yeah. My question was, you said 10 skills. I'm seeing 8. Is that,
Oh yeah,
am I looking at
I just guessed. No, you're. I mean, here, I'll scroll down. Let's
got it?
find out. Beep 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 beep. We'll come down
Because
here.
K9's got it, page 64, I
One,
believe.
two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. 8 skills.
Got it.
8 different
So I've got
proficiencies.
6 points to tap into. So once I've chosen my motif, which is K9,
Hmm.
I've got 6 additional points to add to this.
Right,
So
and nothing
it
can be
starts there,
over
and
a
then I get
3 at the start.
nothing can be over a 3 at the start, and the cap is 5 or 6.
The cap is 5. You can get a special sixth one if you get a favor from a patron.
Got it.
The
And
natural cap
nothing's
is
more than
5.
so that got it.
Yeah,
So having something at a 3 to start with would be you'd be very proficient. That'd be
that's pretty good. Yeah.
yeah, pretty good. Okay, got it.
The system is super easy in its current form, which is different from the one you and I played. I changed it for reasons that I detailed in a previous video, but that I wanted this game to be extremely talkative as opposed to really system heavy at all. And I kind of discovered as I was playing it that there was a little bit just more grit in there that I really wanted to have in this particular title. So it is now a very simple, pretty point and click system. You're rolling 2d10, you're adding 2 things to it. So if you've got like a body exert and athletics check, you're literally adding your body exert and your athletics score to 2d10, and that's your roll.
All right. That was pretty painless.
Yeah, I like to think so. So yeah, for those of you who are tuning in, be sure to check the links once they get up, which won't be immediately because we haven't had this session yet. But once they exist, I will let you know how the manifestation step goes, and you can see it happen live.
Fantastic. I can't wait.